The NFL Combine is officially done, which means more mock drafts. And this one is a special one as Ryan and I, we will be doing a live mock draft. We will be going into PFF, clicking start, and doing a full 7 round mock draft. And you guys get to see our reactions and our decision making in real time. So, what that means, feel free to comment, make fun of us as much as you want. Let us know what you guys would do in certain situations and what potential picks you guys would like to see your team make. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and tackle that bell to get notified when new videos come out. And Ryan, with that being said, let's pull up PFF here and then let's get going.
Let's
We're
do it.
starting off with the Tennessee Titans here as right now. So we're doing the full 7 round and they're starting the draft. So Ryan, if you want to click start draft here,
Let's do it.
uh, no waiting as of right now. We did mix up a little bit of the PFF settings here, trying to make this as realistic as possible and less random, but also team like kind of a good combination between public and PFF. And for me, Ryan, and especially too, just with where Tennessee is at with the quarterback, and as of right now, maybe they could trade back, maybe they go somebody else, but to me, I still think it's just Cam Ward is going to be the pick here.
Yeah, I do think you could make a case for Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, specifically Abdul Carter, now that they're giving Harold Landry permission to kind of go out and seek a trade. I think that that is something that will be heavily considered. The reports coming out of the combine was that the Titans have not made up their mind on what they want to do. There's talks that they could potentially even trade the pick as well and move back in this draft if they're not sold on the quarterback. So, and I know I will say a lot of teams, especially in the Titans position, kind of put out smoke screens and false information just to try to see what they could potentially get. So there is a chance that like they're just putting feelers out to see if a team will get crazy and give them 3 first-round picks and whatnot for the first overall pick. But yeah, I do agree. Right now, I'm still leaning Cam Ward slightly over Abdul Carter. I just think that one uh, he might be worth taking the chance on to see if he can potentially turn into a franchise quarterback over taking one of these blue chippers.
Yeah, yeah, and it's we'll have to kind of wait and see. And so a trade back spot is possible, but to me, I think as of right now, there's no suitors because I also think too everybody's probably thinking the same thing as well about this quarterback class. Is like, do they want to trade up future first for a potential quarterback that might be a bust? And I guess every quarterback could be a bust, but also to like guys like Joe Burrow or those guys are more sure things. It seems like compared to
Yeah,
Cam Ward or some of these other quarterbacks. So let's go Cam Ward here. Let's draft and then let's start getting ready for the second round here. Start picking up here. Travis Hunter, Dual Carter, Ted McMillan going to the Patriots. What do you think about that?
ah, we'll see. I think Tet's stock is falling a little bit, especially too now. You saw some of those guys like Jaden Higgins, for example, had a fantastic combine, and so I feel like he closed the gap there between him and Tet.
Yeah,
Just with some of his workouts here. So
yeah,
Titans are back up on the board here at pick 35. So Colston Loveland falling. Alec Eilmanor had a good combine as well. You got some defensive linemen. I don't think or interior defensive linemen. I don't think that they will be super interested in them. Jack Besh would be an interesting option there. Landon Jackson had a really good combine. Nick Emanwari was probably the combine winner
mhm.
this past week. So a lot of decent options here, I think, for the Tennessee Titans. Also, we're not really doing trades in this series, so I know like Nick Scorton falling to 31, I think would be appealing. There are some other guys like Gray Zabel, Armand Membu that I think the Titans could trade up for. So we're not doing trades. We're kind of just sticking and picking throughout this mock draft.
Yeah, and so what's coming to my mind right here is it's going to be so you just got um Cam Ward. And so now I'm
Yeah.
looking at like Westbrook Akine is a free agent. Tyler Boyd, he's also a free agent. Also just not particularly that great. And so I'm kind of looking at receiver or maybe getting a cornerback here. It's going to be my two options. I think Jack Best would be great. I think Jaden Higgins would be very interesting as well.
Mhm.
And I think one of the big things too is they don't pick again until 102. So maybe this is a potential trade back spot as well to get like
Yeah.
another draft pick come real time. But I'm kind of I think Trey Amos was another guy that I was really impressed with as well. And so I'm going to go. I think they need receivers, and so I'm going to go in the receiver room. I'm going to be leaning towards Jack Besh here. That's
Yeah,
going to be me.
That's kind of where I was leaning as well. I wanted to kind of compare some of the positions. Maxwell Harrison had a really good combine. He is going to fly up some draft boards just with his athletic testing. They have some edge rushers here, but this is kind of the spot I do feel like you go look at some of the guys like Jordan Birch might be available. Well, I guess maybe they don't have a third round pick, so maybe he won't be. But they have Kyman Rucker, who's another good edge rusher. Q Robinson, another good edge rusher. Ashton Jalote. Yeah, I do think you can get edge rusher or corner at that 102 spot. So I agree. I think Jack Besh is probably going to be a high second round pick. So I think this is where he's going to come off the board here. So
Yeah,
Tennessee gets a new wide receiver. I also think I'm going to click it and then I'll talk. But I also think too, you look at what Calvin Ridley does well. Calvin Ridley wins down the field, where Jack Besh is going to catch a lot of balls in traffic. He's going to be a high target, hot like kind of possession like receiver, and I think that that would be a really good fit for him because they already have that deep threat. You get a power slot player in Jack Besh, and I think Cam Ward would really like that. The other thing too is you look at Cam Ward and like Xavier Restrepo. Xavier
yeah, yeah.
Restrepo might have been like short area quickness faster, if that makes sense. Like maybe burst off the ball, but I do think Jack Besh is going to be play like a bigger version of Xavier Restrepo. So, uh,
Exactly.
Tennessee
Yeah.
Titans back on the clock. The two other needs that I feel like we could address here are edge and corner, the ones that we didn't take at that second round pick. So edge, corner. I mean, anybody catching your eye as after I filtered that
Well,
down?
I will say just real quick then too is a name that was there who is still available is going to be Tate Rutledge. And if there is a spot that because I don't think offensive line is really going to be too much in the cards overall in the first couple of picks, just because they've been retooling. But Dylan Redun's going to be free agent, and he's been playing right guard. Tate Rutledge was a right guard at Georgia. Not saying maybe you fill him in there, but potentially this might be some good value here. But I have to kind of wait and see. But I do
Mhm,
agree with you though. It's like so we've done QB, we've gotten his receiver. I don't. I think I mean you could improve tackle or get tackle as like what PFF is saying here, but I do think secondary is going to be more the route
mhm.
that they would end up going here. And so then when you're looking at that, is I mean, you have Legarius Sneed. Did you have oh, how do you pronounce his name? Jadobi Owuzie as well. And is he actually a free agent also too? I need to
He
double check.
might be.
I need to
So
double check.
the two names that really catch my eye, David Walker had a really good Senior Bowl. He's going to be from, I believe it's like Arkansas State or Central Arkansas, and very explosive edge rusher here. And then Noel Williams is the other guy that I really liked. I thought he's a really long, powerful athlete that can play in zone and man coverage scheme. So those are kind of the two guys that are drawing my eye here. Um, Either one of them? Do you like either one of them, or do you
So
wanna
so the big
see
thing for
somebody
me is
else?
gonna be around Harold Landry because I actually like the defensive line that they have here. I think they're gonna re-sign Sebastian Joseph Day in free agency.
Mhm.
Um, and and so but it's gonna be around Harold Landry. And so if he ends up going, I think it actually boosts up their need overall because they're giving him permission to seek a trade. Maybe they'll keep him there in Tennessee because they like to run that 3-4 set typically.
Yeah.
So like more outside linebacker like. And so I'm indifferent. I think probably honestly corner might be the route that they would end up going here. So I think one of your favorite
S
corners, either Kobe Bryant, Melo Dotson, or Noel Williams, I think might be the route that they end up going.
So I actually, so I'll disagree a little bit. I think you look at some of the edge rushers that are on the board. I feel like David Walker might be the last one from a tier where Noah Williams, Zy Alexander, Kobe Bryant, they're all like bigger, not quite as fast. Although like Tyler Barron is a good edge rusher as well. Quincy
Let's
Riley
go.
is a good slot corner.
So they have a pick coming up here. They have a pick coming up here in a little bit.
Yeah.
And so if you're unsure about corners here, let's go get the David Walker. Let's go get the
Okay.
edge rusher that you like here,
Yeah.
kind of fit that scheme that they have. Especially to looking at the measurements that he had 6'2", 260, can kind of be that outside linebacker. And then let's see
Yeah.
what corners are available here at 119. I think that's going to be the route that they end up going because
Okay.
you're right. There's a bunch of corners here, and that's kind of the way that the corners are shaping up here.
Yeah, and I think too they did a good job of putting him up in some good matchups at the Senior Bowl. And so what was it? Uh yeah, David Walker. I can call him David West, like the old Pacers player. David Walker, he did a good job, I think, at the Senior Bowl, kind of showing that he's not totally unprepared for that massive jump in talent because he was pretty dominant at the Senior Bowl as well. So this
Yeah,
is definitely, I think, you look at corner. Let's see. Oh, Noel Williams is still there. You still have
he's
Zy
still there.
Alexander. So I think that's probably the pick here for them at the in the middle of the fourth.
Yeah, I think that's good value too. And so especially if you're wanting to take him there at 102, that and then take the guy that you want, then there's plenty of other options I think that you'd have here. So I'm picking again here at 142 to kick off the fifth round, or I guess not kick off, but just at the beginning of the fifth round. So Ryan,
Yeah.
let's quickly go and review our picks as of right now. So we've gone quarterback, obviously, then receiver, very unique, but then edge, and then corner again here. And this is where I think you could start thinking about offensive line. I also think too, if just looking at this as well, I know you have Tony Pollard there as well.
I was
But
just
he's
about to
definitely
say
not.
this.
Well, he's not the long term solution though. Overall, you do have Tajee Spears though. I will say,
Yeah.
and so it's just this running back class is just so good, and so maybe you can wait a little bit. But even to now, there's so many guys. Bashal Tutin,
He had a
Jordan
really good
James,
combine. Kyle
Will
Monangai
Mullins.
is another guy I really like.
I
Oh, Ollie Gordon is fantastic. I mean,
I
this is
think you can still go get running back here. I mean, so they still have 4 more picks, 142, 168, I think 179 here, on PFF, 180 on Tankathon, depending on which one you're looking at, and then one of the last ones to end out the 7th round. So when looking at this spot here, I still think maybe trying to get the trenches, this is maybe where you dip in on the offensive line side of the ball.
Luke Kandra played right guard. He was really solid for Cincinnati, kind of an underrated guy. This is also a pretty strong interior offensive line class. And so I like him. He's the top guy there. I don't think they really need a center.
They have Lloyd
uh,
Cushenberry
yeah,
in
who's pretty solid.
solid, yes. He was, according to PFF, one of the lower ranking ones, uh, centers last year.
Okay.
But they do have him on contract though but I think it's very team friendly. I would think maybe focusing more on the guard. So I do like going
Yeah.
Luke Kendra there. This is actually
Yeah.
about his average draft position is
Yeah. Honestly.
142.
Okay. So I like Luke Kandra a lot. Powerful guard from Cincinnati. We'll go and watch the thing tick so we can
Mullings is off the
keep track of it.
board.
There goes Kyle Williams, Stool, Nick Nash, Georgia Tech kid.
Denzel Burke falling far.
So going back, quarterback, wide receiver, edge, corner, and then guard address that interior. Um,
Should they get another quarterback here?
no. Uh, you making fun of the Patriots on that one?
Pretty
Uh,
much, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that
Uh,
ended up working out. The Redskins also too worked out for the Redskins. Well, I guess it worked out for Kirk Cousins because dude's gotten
yeah.
so much money.
Oh yeah.
Let me see here.
This is an
Linebacker could
interesting
be
spot.
good there as well. Cody Lindenberg, Danny Stutzman. He'd be a guy. Curtis Rourke, shout out.
I'm a
Shot
big fan
Tootin.
by Saul Tootin. I think this would be a good spot for
And also
him.
too, I want to. Is that how you pronounce his name? Because if so, I apologize
I
as
have
well.
no
Just because,
honestly, I'm the one
well, it
that's
doesn't
the
help. So
enunciator.
Sutton, my daughter's 2 years old, and so now whenever she farts, she's like toot. So that is how I'm reading it. So if
It
that's
it
not how
is
you pronounce the
it is
name,
Tootin. His last name is Tootin. Tootin.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
which
my
is
daughter's
unfortunate.
favorite
You
player
probably
now.
yeah. Yeah.
He's
Uh,
really good too. I'm like, we're not trying to insult him.
oh, I'm 100% confident he has heard all of these jokes before.
Oh, I thought
Uh,
you were about to say like I'm 100% trying to insult.
no, I'm not trying to insult him.
No,
He
I
could
know. No, I
dude
know.
could kill me if he wanted to. But
So
no, I very,
I will
very
say
solid running back there.
I know this would be a double up though, but Emory Jones has fallen as well. Double up on the offensive line, and once again, it's like
Yeah.
you're trying to protect your rookie quarterback there,
He
and you're trying to build that foundation.
he is the case of like he had a pretty good 2023. He was one of the higher rated tackles coming into the season and then just had a bad year. Part of that is Garrett Nussmeier was a lot harder to block for. He's a little bit more sporadic, less consistent in his footwork, had deeper drops than Jaden Daniels, who was, as we can all tell, is a much more polished prospect. And so that did put a lot more stress on him, I think, to kinda go and figure things out, out on the edge, and he was already kind of a heavy-footed guy, so he could potentially be an answer at right tackle. He could also be another depth piece at guard. He's kinda bordering on that line there. He
Yeah.
has the length and the attributes, like the physical attributes. He's just a little heavy-footed right now, and so he will probably end up being a guard. A Johnny Cornelius is another guy that played right tackle at Oregon that was really solid, there as well. Like, there are a few guys here that I think would be interesting on that offensive line. Uh I mean, defensive line, we've really only dipped in at one edge rusher. I don't know if there's any defensive interior guys that they would wanna put in on a rotation there. Tim Smith, not really. Ty Robinson was really good, this season, and then also,
I
at the
I personally
combine.
think, like, they can maybe get some depth pieces though as well, but,
Mhm.
I mean, they've got Jeffrey Simmons, they've got
Yeah,
Devondre Sweat, they got Sebastian Joseph Day, like, I really like the defensive line, because like, those are all those guys are essentially tackles, as well. I mean,
yeah.
Jeffrey Simmons is 305, and he's the lightest guy of everybody. Devondre Sweat's got sixty
That's
pounds
very
on him.
fair.
So,
Yeah,
I to me, I'm leaning linebacker here, so like a Cody Simmon, Cody Lindenberg, Danny Stutzman. I'm indifferent
yeah,
on any of those guys as well, because especially to Kenneth Murray, he's probably going to be a guy that's moving on as well. So this might be a route. I like Danny Stutzman. He was that leader in the locker room of Oklahoma,
yeah.
and
I
so I think
actually
him falling
the
here.
The
But
guy
I'm
that I
indifferent.
like at this point is Jay Higgins. He was at Iowa. This is gonna sound really, like, bad, but he's just, like, I feel like 50th percentile and everything, like, as a linebacker. He's just, like, average, but he you look at him and you watch him play, he has really good instincts. He just looks like a guy that's gonna be in the league for 5, 10 years. So,
All right, let's
um
do that. Let's do Jay
okay.
Higgins here. I don't think too many teams have made poor decisions when drafting a defensive guy from Iowa or a tight end
No,
from Iowa either.
no.
So,
Although Lucas Van Ness to the Packers a few years ago wasn't the best draft pick I've ever seen, but, uh,
well, there's still time. There's still
yeah,
time.
there's still
So,
time.
we've done quarterback, receiver, edge, cornerback,
Or
guard,
guard and
linebacker.
linebacker.
We could start double dipping here. This maybe could be. Hey, let's get Tootin. I
Let's
say
do
let's get Tootin.
okay,
I know they
alright.
have Tajay Spears as well still, but I also think too Tony Pollard's not going to be the long term guy there for
No.
you, and I think
Well,
that's
he's also
great.
he's, like,
I think he's just a great
29
value.
right now, or
Yeah,
he's I don't know if he's 29, but
yeah,
he's definitely getting older.
yeah,
Uh,
and Tajay Spears is a very like
he's
specific kind of guy as well, and so he's definitely that third down back guy. And I think he can take some more snaps, but I think the
yeah,
ideal route would be Spears and Tootin. So,
yeah.
I just wanna
No,
keep saying his name, if I'm being
to
honest.
no, I
So,
mean, I think it's a good fit. He could be an every down back, and he has the long speed that you want in a guy to go and, like, be an explosive runner. So I think it's a good pick. Final pick here for the Tennessee Titans. Uh, man, it's been pretty even. I think we finished with a running back. They have 8 total picks. I mean, I guess just best player available at this point. Is there any position that we didn't address? I guess defensive interior is the only one that we didn't address that doesn't really need to be addressed. But
yeah, I would almost rather do another edge rusher or another receiver to me personally.
okay, let's
So,
look
who are
at
some of the
top
top
wide
receivers?
receivers, top edge rushers. Um,
Let's call Franklin, Jackson Meeks.
Daquan
Uh,
Felton is an interesting one. He's a very large receiver, very good athlete. I like Ja'Cory Brooks as well. Arian Smith is probably the fastest guy.
I would
It
if he's still here, Arian Smith, just with his speed,
yeah,
if he could learn to catch, I mean, I think that would
if
be
he could learn.
something.
It's a pretty crucial part of being a receiver.
How many drops does he have? Does it show how many drops he has? Because I think that was his big
Yeah, it
issue,
does.
right? Yeah,
Uh,
10 drops on the season.
oh,
It says it
where
there
does it?
in the middle.
Oh, yeah, 10
Yeah,
drops. That's
17.
bad.
Yeah, so
What's
I think I think that'd be worth it because if
it
you go look at Cam Ward's throwing capabilities, it's a
yeah,
7th round pick, and at minimum 2, maybe he can be a special teams guy, because he
yeah.
was one of the quicker guys too at the combine, right? When it comes to
I
receiver
don't
guy?
think he ran, but he has run track, and he was, like, one of the only guys in college track to he ran, like, a 10-2 100-meter dash, and,
So that's pretty
like
good.
yeah, yeah, that's pretty good,
A little
and
bit
so,
just a
like
little bit that's a little bit faster than I would do it,
it
and so
yeah, by, like, 5 seconds.
maybe
Uh
maybe 6, maybe 6 seconds.
yeah, and so I think for me, like, he has the route running capabilities that I think you want. It really is, like, just the hands that I think are the issue there. So I think Arian Smith, that's a pretty good pick there, and we'll just go through. We'll speed through the last few picks here and kind of just give our overall thoughts on this draft. So at the top of the draft, the Titans kind of pass up on drafting a blue chip talent to go and get their potential franchise quarterback here in Cam Ward. They get him a powerful, consistent receiving weapon there at that second pick. They don't have a third, so they go straight to the top of the fourth. They got David Walker, a powerful edge rusher from Central Arkansas. Noel Williams, get the corner, the long, powerful corner from Cal. Luke Kandra, strong interior offensive lineman that's going to come in and potentially get some starting snaps in his rookie season there on day three. Jay Higgins, the consistent Iowa linebacker, get a day three running back to come in and potentially be Tony Pollard's replacement. And then you get a project wide receiver there in Arian Smith, just to kind of round things off. And all in all, like, if I'm a Titans fan, I'd be pretty happy with this draft. I think you touched a lot of the major positions that you need to improve upon. At the very worst, you're bringing in more competition. But I think you look at what this draft class provides. I would feel pretty good that your team improved throughout this process.
Yeah, well, and that's what's interesting too with Tennessee and just kind of my last point because this video's been going on a little bit longer too. But it's like you you've got the young foundational pieces. Like your offensive line is young, but there's a lot of promise. You have a veteran receiver in Calvin Ridley, and so you need to improve that skill position player room. Just in general, I feel like they're going to make a splash there. But on that defensive side of the ball, if you can go get a good corner, if L'Jarius Sneed can stay healthy as well, Chidobe Awuzie is also just stays consistent also, and it doesn't look like he's on free agency as well. I checked over the cap, and so if I'm wrong on that, please let me know in the comments. But defensively, though, I think they're there. They did only give up. I think they were top 3 in yards allowed, which is kind of funny
Yeah,
when they were like bottom 3 in like points allowed or something like that.
yeah,
Or maybe it wasn't that bad, but this is just kind of draft for a team that is rebuilding, retooling, and so I can
yeah.
understand hesitancy around Cam Ward, but I could see them taking a shot on him though.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I agree. I think that that would be worth the risk just because I think he has the tools to really be a franchise quarterback for them going forward. So that was the live 7 round mock draft here for the Tennessee Titans. Let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this video here. Leave a comment down below on what you thought of this video. While you're down there, like and subscribe. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.